Hello everyone, it's Cameron here again with some MCAT tips, and my hope in this video is that we can go through some things that I find myself reviewing with people who are planning on taking this test quite often. And the first tip I have here is really to set yourself up for success. And what I mean by this is you should really aim to take this test one time. I'm always a little bit scared when I hear somebody say, I'm just going to take this test and I'm going to see how it goes and then I might need to take it again. I don't think that that should be anybody's goal. It's a very long and draining exam. I took it back in the summer of 2019 in August, and I'm very glad that I only had to take it one time. And so what I suggest that people do is they really need to judge how much time they're going to need to study based on their baseline. And so if you know you're somebody who's going to need a lot of time and really need to review a lot of things, taking a few months before the exam is going to be useful, and that's something that I did. I took about 3 months off and just focused on the exam. If you're somebody who's looking to go right through into medical school and you feel like you're going to need the overlap where you'll be taking classes and you'll be studying for the exam and taking it then, you can do that as well. But nonetheless, you should really plan on setting yourself up for success and hoping that you just have to take the exam one time. The second note that I have here is about taking many practice tests or exams. I always get a little bit scared when I hear somebody say that they're months into their studying and they haven't taken a practice exam yet. I ended up taking around, I think it was over 15 practice exams during my studying, and it was very important to do that, to really see if the content review that you're doing is working. And so if you're just doing content review for months on end and you haven't taken any practice exams, then there's really no way of seeing whether it's raising your score or not. And so it's very important to take these, and it's very important to take the first diagnostic test pretty early. So I'd say within the first few weeks even of studying, to take a diagnostic test is important. It's something that I did at about the 1 month mark, and that was probably too late. And it's always going to feel uncomfortable to do this, but it's very important to do, to know your baseline and to be honest about where you're starting from. The third note that I have is about content review still being important, even though the note above that I have is about taking a lot of practice tests. Still knowing that you need to do content review when you're reviewing the practice exams is a very important realization to have. If people are just going through the practice test and just doing it to see what happens and not reviewing and really seeing where there are discrepancies in their knowledge, then that's when there can be a bit of a problem with actually having raises in scores, because you're not identifying really where the content review needs to happen. And so it's important to still have your content review books and look and see, oh, am I missing questions on acids and bases? And if you are, to really go back and to look at those sections a bit farther. The last note that I have here is called perfect practice makes perfect. And this is a bit of a play on words of that general phrase that people say where they say practice makes perfect. I think it's very important to realize that perfect practice is the most important practice. And what I mean by that is you should practice like you're going to be taking the exam on test day. Start around the same time, eat what you would eat on test day, take the same breaks that you would take on test day, and very importantly, do not stop an attempt once you've started to take a practice exam. There were certainly times when I felt like, oh my goodness, this is a hard practice exam and I'm having a lot of difficulty, and I felt like I wanted to stop, or there would be days where I felt a bit off, and halfway through I would say, I wish I could just end this here. But it's very important to not do that, and I'll never let myself do that. And the reason I think it's important is if you persevere and you push through that exam and you see that you still got an all right score, then there will be no question on test day and no thoughts about going and voiding your score, because you'll realize that you've been able to do this before, that you never stopped, and that you were able to go through the exam and have an all right result. And so those are some of the tips that I hope are a bit universal for everyone. Of course, there are more, but those will depend a bit on the individual. I hope that these are helpful. Let me know if you have any questions, and I look forward to hearing from you. Take care.